the concept of Bridge Think Tank that Marty evolved, and I was involved with her in developing a business plan for this concept, wanting Monterey Institute of International Studies students to help construct a way that she could create this and get her message across and generate programs and activities that would focus on a message of peace and sustainability for the world.
Here's the thing, we all want peace, and we want to do something for peace. But we need to be connected to each other, and we need to start from somewhere. We need to begin. And I think this is what Marty has done. We are all here today to discuss about how to start talking about peace in Afghanistan, bringing this concept for Afghanistan and make it a reality for Afghanistan.
The second piece is that which is made between two individuals. And the third is that which is made between two nations. But above all, you should understand that there can never be peace between nations until there is known that true peace, which is, as I have often said, within the souls of men.
And I think the contribution of peace is true academically, there could be institutions, but the deeper institution is the commitment of everybody. And I think peace is lived by individuals and is motivated by individuals. And history tells us all of the great people are individuals. They created the peace and they made it happen.
The National Peace Academy, and I'm going to focus just for a moment on those two of those words, well, all three of them, National Peace Academy, and why those are very carefully chosen words. Academy, for one, on education. We're talking about a cultural change from a culture of violence to a culture of peace. And the only way, you can't do this through legislation. Government can help, government can set up an infrastructure to help that happen, but it has to come from the hearts and minds, if you will, of people, and changing the way we see the world.
Words that we were starting to use are now showing up in the congressional record and in potential bills and foreign policy papers. And so there is this transformation that's happening, and it gives me great hope that we can transform a culture. And if we can transform this culture in this country, there's hope that we can transform all cultures.
How can we, living here in one of the most privileged nations on the planet, have conversations that lead us to places where we can not only affect what happens in Afghanistan, but many, many other places all over the world, in a way that not only gives of what we have to give, but brings us life and vitality and energy to continue doing the work that all of us are here to do.
Just think about it. Most of the people in the universe die from lack of peace, but not from lack of food. Think of the water we need to drink for being alive. Peace is that thing, and it's as much important as the other things that we need to live by. We have been doing peace for Afghanistan since our childhood, and we want to make it reality.
I think the work that we do here today could be transformational. And certainly, in the words of a friend of ours, Dan Jones, could bend history. And I think that's what you bend history one step at a time.
I went out and I started collecting stones. It was pretty easy. I went around to all my clients and told them I wanted to sell their ideas, and of course, yes, everybody wants to be valued for your ideas. I wanted to become some sort of an alchemist, take what I have and turn it into something else. And I realized that all I had were my people, and that I had the greatest people on the planet.
Have gotten to know Marty through various friends and colleagues and have enjoyed that relationship, and expect to share in the friends and colleagues that you've brought in addition to the ones that I already know. I will be working with a group of students and faculty on a business plan for this concept. I've been called a stone before, and I never thought it really had any practical application. But I'm happy to be one of the stones as part of the bridge.
I am the founder and on the board of directors of an organization called the Peace Alliance, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that later, but it's all about peace and about civic activism, and we work very rigorously on getting legislation through the House and the Senate in Washington, D.C., and we have a sister organization that's doing the same internationally.
And I know I was blessed in actually my last year in architecture school to have an experience with 10 other architecture students, most of whom were very independent types doing their own thing. And we all came together for a semester, and in 3 weeks we produced, still for me, the most extraordinary building I've ever seen anywhere, as 10 students with shared knowledge and a shared vision. And to me, the power that is being suggested here is that kind of opportunity that Marty's bringing, of how can we hold energy so that we can, in groups, and who knows what those connections will be, how can we produce something that none of us could do on our own? And what is the power of shared vision?
We've passed the age of competition, and we're into an age where we are all part of one. And I have experienced that more in green building movement than I have in other places. And as some of you know, architecture and construction is a rather competitive business. But you go into a meeting or a workshop where there are people of like mind that get together, and the degree of cooperation in that very competitive field is amazing.
With the Panetta Institute, Monterey. And my involvement with Marty is basically, we started working, I needed to work on some strategic management programs for the Institute, so I thought Marty's would be pretty interesting. She came to me and just laid it out. This whole idea of peace would be prosperous and all that. I thought it would just be good to try to get her ball rolling, from whatever angle I could start it from.
Marty and I go way back, almost 2 months, when she called me accidentally. And she got the wrong number, and it was the strangest phone call I think I've ever had. I was in the industry for about 40 years, and 2 years ago, a group of us stepped out of companies like Hewlett-Packard and Exxon and Bank of America and several others. We formed a group. It will be offensive to half the people in the room probably, because it's called the Monterey Institute for Social Architecture. So that probably, it could be a problem for the people at the Monterey Institute, and it could be a problem for all the architects. It's really different. It's not the type of architecture that people think of. Most of the systems we have today, our governance system, our economic model, our public education system, our healthcare system, they're all breaking down, and they all need to be redesigned. And so that's what we're about, redesigning the systems from a very high level. And so our two first areas we're really looking and working hard at with other groups around the country is the redesign of the corporation and also the redesign of public education. We're very much into the regional concept because we think place has been lost. People have lost connection to the earth and place. So that's what we're about, and I'm really thrilled. And Marty and I started talking, we're using the same language, we're talking about the same stuff. And it's like, it was like, we were like looking at the flip side of the same coin, and it was just a real surprise for both of us. So we're just getting to know each other, and I'm thrilled to be here. So.
I'm Jim Etro. My present focus is doing thermography, that is infrared characterization. Presently, the two areas that I'm really focusing right now in that is agriculture and building site thermography. I think the only reason she wanted to be here is to be able to meet all of you, and I thought that was a nice reason to come. So thank you for the invitation.
You all don't know, but each one of you are placed to sit next to somebody who's probably going to be business for you, so. It was very tough.
Architecture seemed to be a way of, one of combining improvisation, cooperation, craft, discipline, creativity, energy, and all elements that could be used in a positive way to solve a problem. Get somebody out of the rain, create a room where kids can learn how to read. I only had the chance to work on one spiritual space that was constructed, and I did another one recently. It was a center for the Goldman Foundation up in Yosemite, and the idea behind it was to create a physical manifestation that represents ideas that the Goldman Foundation worldwide granted. In a word, the Goldman Foundation for Environmental Prize is awarded to 10 individuals worldwide that have done something in their community or in their country, in their region, that addresses the larger, almost undefinable issue of sustainability and reverence and protection and restoration of the earth. From solving a drinking water problem in Uganda to learning how to grow crops more effectively in South America. And the chance to be asked to come up with what that concept might look like if you were to house those things together, coupled with the idea of bringing students into the center to see this and to learn about these people and then go off. I had the chance actually to create a concept for a building that really is a reflection of the exchange of ideas, much like I learned as a kid from my dad. The benefit of being able to do something that can solve a problem for somebody in a physical way is immensely rewarding, and I'll always do that. But I have always been pulled to other things that are either more performance or group driven, whereas opposed to being hired for a project at a moment in time that sits on a block, that somehow, if something I could do could reach a broader audience and convey ideas, not just about construction, but about cooperation. That's my real interest in being here today.
As a physicist, you have to believe in a unified field, out of which everything comes. Energy, particles, all bouncing out of this thing. What is it, energy? We don't know what it is, but it's obviously here. And when she started talking about the bridge, I sensed that this was the physics behind it. She wants to go to the unified field. She wants totally new ideas, totally new ways of being here in this world. Doesn't want to rehash of the old. That felt very good. I like that.
I'm going to read you a quote that I think is pretty important at this moment in time, and it says, "When the forms of an old culture are dying, the new culture is created by a few people who are not afraid to be insecure."
Most of us are instructors and professors in DLI, Defense Language Institute, but we are from different backgrounds. We are having diverse expert backgrounds, and at the same time we are from different regions of Sudan. And this is an opportunity to express our feelings, this country of freedom and of saying loudly what we think. It's a chance for us also to express our concerns for our country back home. We are following the news eagerly and anxiously, any piece of it, and we would like, if peace we are dreaming all the time that peace will come to Sudan, and we believe that peace will come to Sudan in the end.
Sudan, which was once considered as the world basket for food. Sudan, which was the fairest country in Africa and in the Middle East to witness democracy. I think the problem can be summed up in three levels: the economic problem, the political problem, and the social problem. What I mean by the economic problem is that people should share the wealth amongst themselves. Most of the areas like Darfur, or the far west and the far east, are marginalized, and the south as well. So they have to share this wealth. They have to distribute this wealth equally. There is the political equality, which means that the government should advance political liberalization, so that each and every Sudanese would express his opinion freely, and that would entail the lift of the laws which restrict human rights.
One important point is that peace cannot come to Sudan unless we have the Sudanese themselves become sensitive of respecting each other's rights, their right to live, their right, and what one witness these days, it seems while our people die in Darfur, we are not really reacting. We have become so insensitive to our own people. You can't have your neighbor house on fire, and then you say, as far as the fire doesn't reach my house, I don't care. So peace can only be achieved if we Sudanese, felt that this peace is necessary. Those in the world who are working to see peace in Sudan realize that to get the Sudanese people, academics, intellectuals, leaders at the local level, women, men, bring them in and listen to them. Now what I see is that we are listening to the opinion of the experts. They are scaring us. They are saying that if the ICC sought to bring justice to those who have suffered injustice, then that will take peace away from us. And I can't see, the logic of such an argument. So many experts nowadays are coming up defending the regime in Sudan and defending the situation in Sudan, criticizing the world attempt and the world concern, and condemn everybody who's raising his or her voice to say that what is going in Darfur is wrong, and it is hurting us, and it's not for peace. Sustainable peace can come only when the people of Sudan come to the fact that they should live with each other as before, respect each other's rights, respect each other's culture and dignity.
Sudan is peace, and peace is Sudan. Maybe I am the only one of the old generation that have seen Sudan in complete peace. And that was exactly in the 40s, when I have seen very mature leaders, they led Sudan to independence in peace. The day that we see force come on and take over the ruling of Sudan, that was the start of the disaster of Sudan and the real crisis. And that has never ended until now. But all I think would bring Sudan back to its old custom is dialogue. And dialogue is the only thing that we could achieve all our kidnapped peace. And this, I think, will be done only by stopping supplying Sudan with weapons. And all I hope from the President and the other countries and the other international community is to stop weapons and let us sit together and reach good conclusion, as we now do it every now and then. We go to Abuja, we go here and there, and we come around the table to discuss our issues. And that is my concern.
Everybody fears to say the factors that bring in conflicts in Sudan. The main problem of Sudan, the Sudanese socio-political structure needs to be rebuilt. It is suffering from 3 ills: religious discrimination, racial discrimination, and misusing Islam. So if we want to bring peace in Sudan, we have to eliminate these 2 discrimination sides.
Well, thanks again for Ms. Marty and all the people who are pushing for peace in this world.
We can't have peace in the United States and not in the rest of the world. We are all connected. We are one family. It's going to take everyone right here, right now in this community. And we live in the most amazing community on the planet Earth. You are the greatest thinkers. We live in deep pockets here with the DLI, Navy Postgraduate School, MIS students here, Canada Institute. I'm sure that what we can say here will put waves out all over the world. And I believe that peace is beginning. So thank you again, and this is just the beginning for all of us.
السر